Before I start this video, in light of everything that is going on, I wanted to take the time to let you guys know that I do support the Black Lives Matter movement. Of course, I am black. If you are black and don't support the Black Lives Matter movement, you need to do some serious reevaluating. But I say all that to say that I just wanted to give you guys some information. I will be having a link in my description box of a Google document that you can access that has all types of resources and links for you to either donate or sign petitions or write a letter or anything that you would like to do to show your support for the Black Lives Matter movement. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another Luna Medina special. And today I'm going to be talking about things to expect when working in a small parentheses veterinary clinic. So I have my notes here that I'm going to refer to on my new MacBook Air. If you haven't watched my video about that, go ahead and I don't know which side, go ahead and click on that. So today we're going to jump right into it. On my last video, someone had a comment that asked me, what do you do in a vet clinic? And I figured, I could talk about, day-to-day stuff that I do. I do this or I don't do that, or, blah, blah, blah. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, a lot of people don't know what it's like working in a small veterinary clinic. But a lot of people, they go to small veterinary clinics to get their animals treated and taken care of. But a lot of people actually don't know, what we have to deal with day to day, who we talk to, what's going on, the day-to-day hustle and flow of things, and how we have to navigate ourselves actually in that environment. So today I just wanted to kind of touch on everything and talk about what it's actually like working in a small veterinary clinic. Now, a lot of the things that I'm going to say can apply to larger veterinary clinics because these things are not, small clinic specific. They go with, just working in a vet clinic in general. Wow, this is hurting my back. There we go. That's better. They go with working in a vet clinic in general. So along with that in mind, keep that in mind when I say something that you're like, well, this could apply to any clinic. A lot of these things that I'm going to say do apply to any clinic, but maybe about half the things I'm going to say apply to a small clinic. The first thing I want to talk about, and maybe probably the most important thing that I want to talk about today, is the fact that when you work in a small veterinary clinic, you can expect to do pretty much everything. Where I work, I am classified as being a veterinary technician, but most of the time I end up doing pretty much everything. And when I say pretty much everything, I mean pretty much every position. We have about 3 positions that you could categorize as being positions. Like if you were to apply, you would apply for one of these 3 things, and that would be either receptionist, vet tech, or kennel tech. So for me specifically, I applied to be a vet tech, but when I applied, they did stress to me that this is a small clinic, so you may be not only doing vet tech duties, but doing other duties as well, which I was totally fine with. I just wanted a job at the time. So I said, cool, that's no problem. Just sign me up. Just let me get a job, I just need a job. I was fresh out of college. If you haven't watched my video about 10 things that I did to get into vet school, go ahead and watch that. And in there I talk about how I was fresh out of college, just starting out. I needed a job ASAP so I could start making my own money, because of course my parents decided they wanted to charge me rent. Lovely. So I needed some money to be able to cover my rent, to be able to live in my room. I didn't mind that I would have to work more than one job occasionally. So I went ahead, took the job, and here I am. And these are the things that I have to do day to day. I'm going to start with the vet tech position since that is the one that I am supposed to be doing. And as a vet tech, what you do is your job as a vet tech is patient care. So anything that the doctor would like to do for the patient, it is your job to be the pharmacist. It is your job to be the radiologist, meaning you take x-rays. It is your job to be the anesthesiologist, meaning you monitor the pet during surgery. It is your job to be the nurse, meaning you draw blood, you help put in catheters, or you put in catheters yourself, or you administer medicines, administer vaccines to animals. Vet tech it carries a long list of responsibilities in itself because your responsibilities have this all-encompassing umbrella of maintaining a standard of quality patient care. So I'm going to dive a little bit more into what I do as a vet tech. I'm just going to walk through my typical day. Let's do a surgery day because that's a little bit more intensive. And let's also do a surgery day since COVID-19 started. Since COVID-19 has been an issue where I live, we have only been doing curbside assistance, which is great, meaning we don't have to go into the rooms with the clients and potentially expose ourselves or them to COVID. But it's also great because we don't have to deal with clients as much. And when I say clients, I mean the owners. Patients are the pets, clients are the owners. We don't have to deal with clients as much when we're doing curbside assistance, which is amazing. Like when I tell y'all it is amazing, I don't have to sit in the room waiting on doc to come in and start the exam, trying to make small talk. With curbside assistance, we just bring the pet in, we see the pet, and any questions that the owner has, doc will go out and either talk to them or he'll talk to them over the phone. So we as veterinary technicians don't really have to deal with clients as much, which is a big plus for me. But moving back into my typical day. So if it's a surgery day, I come in at the same time every day. Now it is 8 a.m. I come in, I say hello, good morning to the receptionist, of course. I clock in, and then, I start turning on all the lights. I go and I turn on the CBC machine, and I make sure that our chemistry machine and our urinalysis machine are functioning properly in case we have to run any blood work, which if it is surgery day, of course we are going to have to run blood work. Every pet that gets surgery needs to have blood work done to make sure that their kidneys and the liver are able to handle the anesthesia so that the animal can wake up properly. I make sure that those machines are working. If I look on the schedule and I see what we have going on today, I look and see that we have a pet coming in because they're limping on their back leg. Okay, well that lets me know that they're probably going to need an x-ray. So I go and I turn on the x-ray machine, and I make sure that it's warmed up so that when this patient comes here, the x-ray machine is already ready to go and the patient can just go ahead and get their x-ray and the owner doesn't have to wait too long. So I make sure all the machines are on, functioning properly and working, and then I go into the back and I see who we have in the clinic that stayed overnight in the hospital. And I say in the hospital, I mean just they stayed overnight. We kept them overnight to monitor them, and because they are being hospitalized for something maybe like kidney disease, they're getting fluids over a few days, so they may as well just be hospitalized and stay in the clinic. So I go into the back and I check on the animals, make sure none of them died overnight. Another thing that I don't do as a vet tech, and I refuse to do, is to tell an owner that their pet is deceased. That is the doctor's job, because the doctor is the one that needs to tell these owners that their pet has died, because veterinary technicians, first of all, we don't have the credentials to be able to tell you why exactly this or that happened. And of course, clients are going to have a lot of questions about what happened to their pet. So us as veterinary technicians, it's just a better transition. It's just easier for everybody if the doctor tells them their pet is deceased and this is why, this is what happened. So I go into the back, checking all the patients. Let's say I have a couple of patients that stayed overnight in the hospital. If they are a dog, I will take them out of their cage, make sure they can walk around and everything. Check and see if they ate overnight, because that is a part of it, making sure that they eat and drink. And so if it's a dog, I'll take them out of the cage and I'll go walk them around outside, let them do their business, and I will also check and see what their stool and what their urine looks like. Because stool and urine, meaning feces and urine, is a really good, not a really good, but if those two things are not normal, that may be the first signs that something is wrong with the pet. So of course, if a pet has diarrhea, usually it's not something they ate, especially if they're in the clinic. A lot of times it is something they ate. You know, when you eat something that, like a lot of spicy food, or you eat some meat that wasn't all the way cooked and they give you diarrhea or may make you vomit. But when it's a dog, they can get dehydrated pretty quickly. So you want to catch that as soon as you can. But assuming everything is going well with this pet that I took outside, their stool was nice and firm, there was no blood, that wasn't mucousy, their urine was nice and clear, nice and yellow, they weren't straining to pee, everything's good. I take the pet back inside, and from there I take their vitals. So this is what I mean when I say that techs also have to be like the nurse. We come in and we take their vitals, I put them on the table, check their weight, check their temperature for the day, check their TPR, which is temperature, pulse, respiration, check their gums, mucous membranes, make sure they're pink. That tells us that blood is flowing to the body pretty nicely. And what else? We write down how their stool was and what their urine was like, everything like that. And so after I take care of our in-house patients, which are the patients that stayed overnight in the hospital, then I will, what do I do? Then I will, well, let's see, for surgery today, pretty much we wait for people to start dropping off their pets. And so let's say that it's about 10 a.m. That's the drop off. That's the cutoff time for drop offs. It's 10 a.m. All the drop offs are in. And all the surgeries are here. So from there, I will start drawing blood from the animals so that they can get their blood work. Remember, I said that all animals that get surgery have to have blood work. So hopefully the other technician is there to help me hold, so that they can hold the animal while I try to get blood. If it's a bigger dog, I can just put on a tourniquet, and if they're nice and don't move around a lot, I can get the blood myself. If it's a cat, definitely gonna have somebody hold the cat to get blood. But from there, after we get the blood, I will run the blood work. So I'm not entirely sure what this person would be called, but we are the people that run the blood work as well. So we run the blood work, look and see, show it to the doctor, and the doctor will say, okay, that looks great, or their ALT is a little high, or their BUN, their creatinine is pretty high. From there, he'll tell me either run additional tests, or this pet is not getting surgery, we need to get these levels down before they have surgery. Because if the ALT is too high, then we have a high risk of the animal actually dying on the table. Or if the creatinine is too high, we have a high risk of the animal dying on the table, and we don't want that. So from there, we either do surgery or not. But before we even get to surgery, of course, now we have our appointments that come in, and we have to see these appointments. And when I say appointments, I mean that they bring the animal in, the owner is waiting outside in their car, waiting on their pet to be finished. So of course we have appointments from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., which doesn't seem like a lot of time, That's what, 9, 10. That's 3 hours of each appointment is 30 minutes. That's 3 hours of me just seeing appointments. You got to remember that I also have the drop-offs and the surgeries. And since I am the only tech upstairs, meaning I am not downstairs doing kennel, and kennel tech does baths and take care of the boarders, since I'm the only tech upstairs, that means I have to do the appointments, the drop-offs, and the surgeries. So when I say we are a small clinic, I really do mean we are a small clinic. Right now we are actually short-staffed because one of our staff members actually quit due to everything going on with COVID-19. So we are down one less technician, and we technically only have one receptionist. Our office manager will do receptionist duties because, of course, everybody does everything, but she is technically not a receptionist. We only have one receptionist, unfortunately. So we're short-staffed. We have a lot on our plate, and so that is that. I'm going to briefly touch on what kennel tech and receptionist does. Receptionist can be pretty self-explanatory. You're answering the phone, scheduling appointments, checking people in, charging people out, handling client communication is a lot of what the receptionist does. The kennel technician is the one who works downstairs, and downstairs we have our boarders and our bathing area. So the kennel technicians, they do nail trims and baths, and they also take care of the boarders, meaning they feed and water them, and they take them outside so they can do their business every day. Usually twice a day, but if we're really busy, it'll be like once a day or something. So that is everything that every position does. Working in a small clinic, you will be doing all of those things at some point. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is, to piggyback off of that, communicating with your co-workers. Communication is very important when you're talking about patient care, because a lot of things can fall by the wayside if you're not communicating effectively, telling your co-workers, hey, I did this, or I didn't do that, this patient still needs that, or I already did that for this patient, or we're adding this medication on, can you put this into the charges, and everything like that. So communication is a really big part of working in a small clinic, because if you don't have that communication, then patient care can really suffer, and that is when you get angry clients, and also that is when you get patients who are not feeling their best, which is our entire thing about working in veterinary medicine, is that we want to help our patients be as healthy as they can be. Now I want to talk about clients for a bit, and this next part is not going to really be small clinic specific. It's really going to be all clinic information. I want to talk about clients and difficult clients and how I've handled clients before, and this part is also for all you pet owners out there. Things to keep in mind when you go to the vet, and how to be nice to your pet's caretakers, aka the veterinary technicians, receptionist, and the doctor. So one thing that absolutely grinds my gears is clients who will try to get free services. I understand that veterinary care is expensive, but you chose to have a pet. It's a pet. Pets are a luxury. They just are. They just are. You can say, well, I need a pet for my mental health. It's still a luxury. Having a pet is a luxury. And luxuries are not necessities. Meaning, you chose to have a pet. Therefore, you should be able to afford said pet. I'm a firm believer that if you cannot afford to have a pet, you should not have a pet. Point blank, period. And when I say afford, that means you should be able to afford veterinary care. You should have some money set aside, or some credit, a line of credit set aside, Care Credit. If you don't know about Care Credit, it is a credit card specifically for health related reasons that you can use at the vet. So you need to have some avenue, some way of paying for your pet's veterinary care, or don't get a pet. Please do not come to the vet with a boohoo sob story thinking you're about to get something for free. Stop coming to the vet trying to get free services. Would you go to the doctor's office asking them, can I get free blood work? No. Nobody goes to their kid's doctor's office, their own doctor's office, expecting to say some boohoo sob story and get something for free. That's what we have insurance for. Pet insurance is a thing. It is a thing. So if you seriously do not think you'll be able to afford a pet, but you still want one, either get a line of credit or get some pet insurance. Please, please, because we're sick and tired. We're sick and tired. How do you think we keep our lights on? How do you think we keep a roof over our head? By giving free services? How do you think we pay for supplies? How do you think we pay for supplies? Where does the money come from? Especially after you had a private practice, it damn sure not coming from the government. So where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? The money is coming from people paying for our expertise, paying for our service. Veterinary care is a service, just like human medicine is a service. It's not free. It's not free. Especially with pets being a luxury, veterinary care is not free. So when clients come in and they try to tell me some story about this and that going on in their life, okay, so how are you going to pay for your pet services? If you don't want to pay for your pet services, we can certainly decline them out for you. And another thing, somebody watching this video may say, you only care about the money? Why you don't care about pets? Why are you even in this field? You don't care about pets? Believe it or not, clients have said that to us. When we tell them the price and they say, oh, I can't afford that, and we say, well, here are options. Oh, my credit's bad, I can't get Care Credit. There's nothing we can do from that point forward. They have the gall, the nerve to say, so you don't care about the pets? You don't care about the pets? You're just gonna let my pet die because I don't have the money to pay for it? Are you kidding me? How dare you? How dare you fix your mouth to sit there and say that I don't care about pets? People who do veterinary medicine, believe it or not, do not do it for the money. Do not do it for the money. Because veterinary medicine, veterinarians and veterinary technicians make peanuts compared to what a registered nurse or even a regular nurse would make. And especially make peanuts to what a physician or a surgeon in human medicine would make. Are you kidding me? You're saying we're in it for the money? Are you kidding me? How dare you sit there and say I don't care about pets because you can't afford to get service for your pet? How is that my problem? And how is that make me not care about pets because I won't give you free services? Something that you will probably have to deal with as a veterinary technician. And something to keep in mind. So think about now, if you want to be a veterinary technician, think about how you're going to respond to this. And also remember that they don't actually believe you don't care about pets. They're only saying that to hurt you and to manipulate you into getting what they want. Don't be fooled. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Whenever somebody says that to you, just immediately think, okay, so you're mad at me because you can't pay for your pet? No, you're taking that on me. Come on, people, really, come on. I don't understand when people are so mean to the people that are giving them a service for a beloved member of their family. Why would you be mean to the people who have your pet in their care? And just because you're mean, there is in no way that a veterinarian or a vet tech would ever harm your pet because you're being mean to them, because we know it's not the dog's fault. We know it's not the cat's fault. We know that it's not their fault that they got a rude owner. It's not their fault. Don't let it get to you, is all I can say. Another thing to expect from clients is them Googling what they think is wrong with their pet, and then them trying to tell you, a medical professional, what is wrong with their pet. We do rely on the client's information to know what's going on with the pet. But if you try to come in here with a diagnosis, just don't. Just tell us the symptoms, tell me what's going on, and we will do our best to come up with a diagnosis. Because we have a doctor who's been working in the practice for 30 plus years, had his own practice for 30 plus years. So why do you think you know better than him? Why? Because you search something on Google? Okay. One last thing I want to end on a good note with clients is that when you work in a small clinic especially, expect some clients, not all, some clients, some of the favorite clients, to bring you treats and goodies and all types of food. We have one client who, she is the sweetest old lady. I swear she just brings her dog all the time just so she can talk to us. I swear. But she loves us. We love her. And more than one occasion, she has brought us food. She brought us a whole spread one time for New Year's. She sang for us. It was amazing. It was awesome. It's clients like that that really make the job worth it. A lot of times, it's clients like that that really make the job worth it. But when you live in a small clinic, you get a lot more of that, because when there's only 5 people on staff, then, people can afford to, spend a little money to feed, give a little snack for 5 people. One more thing I want to talk about working with your coworkers, to kind of piggyback off of the communication is key thing, is that expect to be working with many different personalities, and expect to have to learn how to navigate working with those different personalities to avoid unnecessary conflict. The people that I work with, they're not difficult people to work with by any means, but they all have their little quirks. They all have their things that get on their nerves. They all have their personalities. Everybody has a personality. So working in a small clinic, it's a lot more close-knit. So there's a lot more room for people's feelings to get hurt. Meaning that, not to say that you have to walk on eggshells, but really take the time to get to know your coworkers. Really learn what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, what makes them upset, so that you can have an even better experience working in your job. Sucks working with people that you don't like. It sucks working with people that you can't communicate with. And communication is one of the big things that you need working in a small clinic for optimum patient care. So I would just say to remember that you're going to have to deal with many personalities, and to find a way to navigate those and make sure that you don't run into problems. So a couple more things I want to talk about, and then I'm out of here. I'm done with this video. I'll start with this one. You won't get a lot of downtime. So when you do get downtime, use it very wisely. Whether it be using it to eat your food if you don't really get a lunch break that day because you're so busy, or using it to catch up on entering notes into charts, or using it to catch up on making estimates or phone calls. Whatever you do, whatever downtime you have, don't just spend it, scrolling on your phone. Spend it doing something that will make your life a whole lot easier for yourself and for your other veterinary technicians and for your receptionist and your doctor. Spend that time doing things that will make things run smoother in the clinic. And last thing, I want to end this on a positive note, is when you work in a small clinic, expect to get priority on cuddles and kisses from cute little kittens and puppies, and from the really nice dogs and cats. Because really, every patient that comes in there is your patient when you work in a small clinic. Whether you're working with them directly or indirectly, every patient has the opportunity to come across your hands, or you have the opportunity to put eyes on every patient that comes in the clinic, because the clinic is so small. So a benefit of that, I would say, is that whenever a cute little kitten or a cute little puppy comes in, I know I always look and see what's on the schedule, and I make sure that I get my dose of cuteness and my dose of cuddles for the day, because those moments are really the moments that make, I wouldn't say those are the ones that make veterinary medicine worth it, but they are a big part of what make veterinary medicine worth it. Saving lives every single day and improving the comfort and the quality of life of your patients every single day is what makes veterinary medicine worth it. And the reason why I got into this field was so that I could help animals and in turn help people, because when a person's valued member of their family, aka their pet, is sick or going through something, or even they are nearing the end of their life, people count on veterinarians and veterinary technicians to comfort them, to make sure that their pet is getting the best care that they need to be getting, and making sure that they can have as many years as they possibly can with their family member. Veterinary medicine for me has been a wild ride. There are some days where I come in and a pet has completely pooped all over their cage, diarrhea all over their cage. This happened to me last week. I came in, a white dog, of course it was a white dog. She was in a cage overnight because she was boarding with us, but she had canine herpes, so we didn't want her to come in contact with any other dogs. We put her in isolation, which has a cage. It's its own room with a cage in it. She's never had diarrhea before at our clinic. Never had problems. But when I came in that morning and I smelled that diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, I was like, no, please don't let it be her. And lo and behold, it was that white dog who had black diarrhea. It was smeared all over her body. Her fur was stained because of it. It was all over the cage, all over the floor. Like, it was a disaster, to say the least. That was one of the worst mornings that I've had working there in a long time. It was nobody's fault, but it was just one of those things where it's just like, wow, this had to happen to me today. But even with those things, she's a really sweet dog. So I wasn't too bad, because she couldn't help it. Like, she couldn't help it. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video about these things you can expect when working in a small clinic. I feel like I rambled on a little bit too much, so I probably cut out a lot of this video. But just let me know what you all thought of this video. If you're considering being a veterinary technician, did this video help you at all? Do you have some other questions that you think you would like answered? If you do, go ahead and ask them in the comments, and I'll be sure to look in the comments and try to answer them to the best of my ability. But other than that, that is it for today's video, guys. Y'all be safe out there with all this COVID stuff going on, and be kind to your veterinary technicians and to your veterinarians, and especially be kind to your receptionists, please. That is all that I'm going to say for today's video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.